What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here, and today we are going to do a simulated, we're going to do some pack openings, we're going to do some simulated sealed deck construction, and I'll share some thoughts on that format as we get hyped up for the pre-releases that will be happening this weekend. So yeah, so to start off with, we have our 6 packs. This is what you're going to get at a pre-release. You're going to have 6 booster packs. Now, the pre-release kits are also going to contain promo Luke, promo Vader, or an alt art version, different from the Gen Con promo, but still a fancy version of Luke and Vader. Then you're also going to get, I believe, some tokens in a deck box. I do not actually have a true pre-release kit here. I just have this stuff, so this is what we're going to work with. Let's get to it. So we're going to open up our first pack. And what we're going to do here is we're going to separate out the leader. So we have Chewie here. This is a common base, so it's not that important. And then we're going to be sorting these cards in terms of their aspects. So we have Spec Force Soldier, Alliance Dispatcher, Steadfast Battalion, Cargo Juggernaut. Let's actually get these packs off here so we have more room to work with. And Vigilant Honor Guard. So as you can see, I have the heroism versions of the cards up top, the neutral versions here, and we're going to be putting the villainy cards in the bottom area. Have an entrenched. We have Jeddah City here, which is a fancy base, and foil patrolling V-wing. Okay, so looking at this stuff here, let's move the villainy over to this side. So yeah, you know, we have green heroism, has a few more cards in that pack. We have 2 cards there, 2 cards for blue, 2 cards for generic green, but we don't really know too much about the card pool until we have opened our other packs here. So let's see what we got. Ooh, very nice. So this is a Hyperspace Jyn Erso. And this is really nice for 2 reasons. So first off, it's a really cool looking card. This is actually the first time I've seen a Hyperspace Jyn. And secondly, Jyn is one of the best leaders in limited play. So there's a fair chance we'll end up using that, quite frankly. We're gonna put this Chopper base over here. So Snow Speeder, that's a pure heroism card. Gladiator Star Destroyer, Resilient, Death Star Stormtrooper, Escort Skiff, Underworld Thug. So I guess actually we'll put the neutrals over here, so then we have kind of that same layout of neutrals, neutral heroism villainy. So then Gamorrean Guards, ATST, Hyperspace Partisan Insurgent, looking cool. We have a Bosk here, that's a cool card. Hardpoint Heavy Blaster, Hyperspace Bright Hope. Man, I got 3 Hyperspace cards in this pack. That's crazy. We got the Jyn, the Partisan Insurgent, and now this Bright Hope. That's a really nice looking card. Then we have a Spark of Rebellion and a foil Don't Get Cocky. Man, this pack that was a pretty sweet pack. We had 3 Hyperspaces and 2 rares. Yeah, I'll take it. On to our next pack. Director Krennic will be our leader this time. Administrator's Tower. 2-1B Surgical Droid, Disabling Fang Fighter, that's a nice card. Strike True, there's some removal. Removal's good to have. System Patrol Craft. Green Squadron A-Wing. Recruit. Restock. Swoop Racer. Asteroid Sanctuary. Rebel Assault. Fifth Brother. Takedown. And then we have a Gideon Hask, who is our first actual Vigilance Villainy card, and a foil Death Star Stormtrooper. Okay, you know, we're adding things up. We're halfway there, but we gotta keep going and see the other options here. So now we're gonna open up another Chewie, a Hyperspace Administrator's Tower. So, with an experience on the back. So this is, you know, we may well not use the space, but if we do use it, we may as well use the nice looking Hyperspace version. I think the Hyperspace cards in this game look so good. Cantina Braggart, Vanguard Infantry, The Humble Alliance X-Wing, honestly a really good card. Honestly a constructed worthy card. Repair, Wampa, Super Laser Tech, ISB Agent, the Corellian Freighter, Jawa Scavenger, Benthic 2 Tubes, Inferno 4, a Hyperspace the Emperor's Legion, Emperor's Royal Guard, and a foil Waylay. 2 more packs remaining. Let's see what we get here. So Leia Organa will be a leader option, another chopper base. Rebel Pathfinder, Make an Opening, First Legion Snowtrooper, Consortium Star Viper, Death Trooper, Confiscate, Outer Rim Headhunter, Cell Block Guard. We have a Hyperspace Mercenary Company, pretty cool looking. Protector, this is a double blue card. We're gonna put this off to the side. I guess we'll put double aspect cards down here. It's pretty unlikely that we're gonna be using double aspect cards. Ezra Bridger, Attack Pattern Delta, another double aspect. Redemption Medical Frigate. Ooh, and a Hyperspace Foil Echo Base Defender. Not only a good card, but a very cool looking card as well. All right, we're down to 1 pack. Let's see what this one has to offer us. Hyperspace Boba Fett, that is a nice draw. Similar to Jin, Boba is not only a very good leader, but you know, this hyperspace version is pretty sweet looking. We're gonna have Echo Base, the Wilderness Fighter, Open Fire, a Mercenary Company, just normal treatment, Restored Arc 170, Infiltrator's Skill, Battlefield Marine, that's a pretty strong card, Snowtrooper Lieutenant, Snapshot Reflexes, Lothal Insurgent, Chewie, Overwhelming Barrage, there's a important card, Sabine Wren Explosives Artist, For a Cause I Believe In, and a foil Ezra Bridger. So I think we actually had 2 Ezras in the same pack. Okay, so now this is our card pool. Let's see here. In terms of crazy bombs, so the craziest bomb that I have is going to be this Overwhelming Barrage. If we can get a deck that has some sort of big unit and then plays the barrage to deal a bunch of damage, that could be pretty big. We do also have a Super Laser Tech, which is quite useful if we do go Villainy. Looking at these, we have the TIE LN, ATST, Cell Block Guard, Snowtrooper Lieutenant, probably a little better than our generic heroism picks of Alliance X-Wing, Rebel Pathfinder, and Snowspeeder. So one thing that's important to note is that at your pre-release, it is going to be possible to use Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker using those promos that you get. So thinking about these cards, I think my main options are to either do well, let's see here. So we do have a few solid aggro cards here for red heroism, Spec Force Soldier, Green Squadron A-Wing, Sabine, For a Cause, and we could augment that with some of this stuff. The problem is the For a Cause I Believe In isn't actually going to be that strong, because even though this is a great card, it's reliant on having other heroism cards, and I think that we don't have a deep enough heroism pool for a cause to be reliably large damage. So that's going to be less appealing as an option. Now we do have some good, so Open Fire, that's a good card. Wampa is actually pretty good in this format. Disabling Fang Fighter is pretty good. Partisan Insurgent's pretty good. We have a few good red things here. And if we were to play red Villainy, especially with Darth Vader, we could play these Death Star Stormtroopers, the First Legion Snowtrooper. All 3 of these synergize well with Vader. We could add in Fifth Brother, Ruthless Raider. Those are some very solid picks. So one option would be to go for like a red-green Villainy. That would allow us to play the Super Laser Tech, the Overwhelming Barrage, some of this stuff. We have some good red picks. We have some good Villainy stuff. And then we would be able to add some of these generics. So like these mercenary companies aren't the best ever, but they'll do, you know, they'll be solid. We can play Strike True to have some more removal, Consortium Star Viper, Escort Skiff probably, Steadfast Battalion. You know, this isn't like a dream. This isn't like a dream setup, but it would have some decent options. And then for red, we could easily play the Open Fire, the Wampa, the Fang Fighter, Partisan Insurgent. So if we were to make we do have to get up to 30 cards. So let's see how many cards we would have if we ended up doing that, if we ended up going for that kind of Vader green. So we would have these 5 and these 5, maybe not the Emperor's Legion. This card is kind of situational, but let's just count with like the cards that we're more excited about running. So that would be 9. We can run all of these, 10, 11, 12, 13, then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. These are not great. We could run the Patrolling V-Wing and Recruit, so that would get us up to 21. And then we would have 22, 23, 24, 25. Now, we could be running this, but I only have like 25 cards that I'm really excited about running, and honestly, not even all of these are that exciting. So even though there's some really good stuff in these colors, I'm not entirely sure this is what we're gonna go with. So I'm going to put these back in their respective piles, and we're gonna think some more about other stuff that we could run. Because as much as I like the idea of running Command Vader with an overwhelming barrage, I'm not sure that we have enough other cards to support it. Now we could put in Underworld Thug, would fit in easily, as would Corellian Freighter. You know, these aren't the best cards, but they would fill their role. But, you know, we're still kind of scraping for stuff there. So what else could we do? If we wanted to play Luke, we have a few good heroism blue cards. We could maybe do like a Luke green. So we could say, let's say we're doing those 3, and then we'll run all this stuff. So that's another, this Alliance Dispatcher is really good with Luke in particular. So that'd be another 6. So we'd be at 9 cards. And then the problem is, I think, again, we're not going to have a huge card pool. We definitely want to make an opening. And I guess the Wilderness Fighter is playable. So that'd be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, maybe we play this Resilient. That'd be 16. And then we'd be bringing those in. That's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You know, again, we're sort of running short of cards that we're really excited about playing if we ended up with those combinations. So we want to think a little more and see if we can put something together that's going to be more effective. Now, of course, we could also, if we were doing Luke Green, we could also play Out of Aspect Overwhelming Barrage. So most cards are not worth playing Out of Aspect, but Overwhelming Barrage is so high impact that it might be. So that would be an additional option. Let's think about what else we can do. So one thing we could try is going for Jin, who's one of the best leaders in Limited. So if we ran, we have a fair few heroism cunning cards here. So if we ran these 6, we can probably find some other stuff. So Snapshot's great. That's 7. Outer Rim Headhunter's at least decent. That's 8. Waylay, that's 9. Java Scavenger, we don't want to run. Asteroid Sanctuary, 10. Swoop Racer, 11. Don't Get Cocky, 12. Gamorrean Guards, 13. Surprise Strike, 14. So that's a fair few cards just in yellow heroism. We'll probably run the 3 generics here, or the 3 heroism only cards. That would put us up to 17. And then we'd have to think about what other aspect to include. So based on this pool, I think the answer is probably either green or red, given the cards available to us. We would need to find 13 cards. So if we wanted to do Battlefield Marine, Echo Base Defender, honestly, all of these are good. The Alliance Dispatcher isn't as good if you're not Luke, but if you're going first, you can still play it and sort of make your opponent have to figure out how to deal with it. It also works if they end up going to space. So this is like 6 cards that we'd be happy to play. That would put us, I think, at 19 total. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 at least. Yeah, it's interesting. It's still not exactly where we want to be, but In limited, and especially in sealed, there's a good chance that you'll have to run some cards that you don't love. So if we're looking at this, I think, you know, let's say I like Jin. I think Jin's very effective in limited. So let's say that we're going to end up making the Jin, the command Jin build. So what we'll do is I'm going to move these piles to the side here, and we're going to keep this overwhelming barrage and play it out of aspect because I think it's a winner. So what we're doing here is we're going to move the piles of things that we're not really going to be running off to the side. And we're going to be using this now to try to get a better deck building space that will give us more of a handle on our options. So, sorry for nudging the camera there. So we're going to be using Jin, and I think we were thinking Echo Base here. So now let's start laying stuff out. Instead of this way, we're going to lay things out by cost to try to see if we have a functional cost curve. So let's say 3 cost, we have Ezra, we actually have 2 Ezras, that's nice. Spark of Rebellions here at 2 cost. Chewie at 5, Liberator at 4. Okay, so we're gonna add to the different costs here. Bright Hope is nice to have. Rogue Squadron Skirmisher there at 6. Allowing us to get a small unit back as well. We'll add to our smaller units there, add a Snowspeeder. Okay, so I am seeing a fair few small units that we can play, which is pretty good. I think that generally speaking, I think you want to have something like, you know, maybe 6 to 8 1 or 2 cost units. So right now we have 5, so I'm going to add to it by including this Underworld Thug. 2 cost, 2/3 generic, but that is a playable card here, and it's going to help us get more cheap units in the build. We're also going to put in the Corellian Freighter. Let's see what we have here. Mercenary Company we want to play. We'll play both of those. Consortium Star Viper isn't a great card, but in this format it's good. Strike True gives us some removal. Escort Skiff works great with the Alliance Dispatcher and can also be a good card with several of the green cards. Steadfast Battalion we'll throw in there. Patrolling V-Wing we'll put in also. That'll bring us up to 7. So then where are we at in total cards right now? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we would need to find 5 other cards to include. But I've neglected my generic pile here. So we're actually going to remove the Patrolling V-Wing in favor of the Outer Rim Headhunter, which I think is a better card. We'll throw in the Waylay. Yeah, actually this is really good. Don't Get Cocky as removal, which is nice to have. Gamorrean Guards, Surprise Strike. Now I think we might actually be looking for cards to cut. 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So we would want to remove 1 card from this build. And honestly, this is not looking terrible. It's not looking like it's absolutely the bomb, but it's not looking terrible either. So what card do we want to cut? So for card quality reasons, the worst card in this build right now is probably Underworld Thug. There is also an argument for cutting Rebel Assault because we don't have that many rebels, but it could still be really impactful in the right situation. So I think I tend to want to keep that. We could cut Chewie. I actually don't like Chewie very much. We're also a little heavy on 6 costs, so we could cut one of those. Or wait, no, that's a 5 cost. We're a little heavy on 5 costs. I like having the Out of Faction Barrage as a top end card here. I think we're going to cut the Corellian Freighter. So this is a 5/5 Sentinel in the Space Arena. which can be, or it's a 4/4 Sentinel in the Space Arena for 5, which can be good to have. But we already have a better Space Sentinel in this Bright Hope, which is a 4-cost 2/6 and has a relevant ability as well, and is a rebel. The Corellian Freighter isn't terrible, but he isn't doing something that's like that important, and the Underworld Thug, while also a neutral unit that's not that good, is helping us have a more reliable turn 1 play, which is really important. So let's say this is the 30. Sorry about the coughing. And then we're gonna have Jin Urso and Echo Base, and that's gonna be our sealed deck. So, you know, is that gonna be my best sealed deck ever? Probably not. But is it going to be at least decent? I hope so. And we would be able to then play that and see how we do against other players in the pre-release. So, yeah. Those are just a few basic tips in terms of, I find it useful to break down the cards into different piles so that you have a better sense of how many cards are available for different things, and then sort of thinking about the leaders that you have and how much of a deck you can build with each one. So one interesting point is that we had this Boba Fett but didn't really give huge consideration to him. The reason for that is that our Cunning Villainy pool was super limited. We had Bosk and ISB Agent, and that's it. Bosk is a good card. Bosk is actually a quite good card, but we just didn't really have enough cards in his colors for it to be that good. So like Command Boba could have been cool, but the pool didn't really lend itself to doing that without having to do a lot of out of aspect stuff. So, you know, sometimes that's how it goes. All right. Sorry for coughing so much, guys. Still, like I have a little bronchitis after being sick. I think I'm no longer sick with what I had previously, but I'm still recovering a bit. So hopefully that'll happen soon. But yeah, that was the pack opening and, you know, simulated pre-release deck building. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comments below. You know, criticism of my deck, suggestions for other stuff to try. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks to you all for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.